everyone, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Daniela Potenciano. Today I'll be discussing the introduction and section 1 of the Republic Act 1425, also known as the Rizal Law. This law plays a big role in our education, especially in how we learn about our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. Let's begin with the purpose of this law. Republic Act 1425 was passed because the government saw the need to reawaken the spirit of nationalism and love for country, especially among the youth. The law recognized that Rizal's lives, works, and writings, particularly his two famous novels, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismos, are powerful tools for shaping the moral character, discipline, and civic values of Filipinos. That's why, under this law, it became mandatory for all public and private schools, colleges, and universities to include courses on Rizal lives and works in their curricula. This isn't just limited to learning dates and facts. It includes actually reading Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, preferably in their original or unexpurgated versions or in English translations, especially at the college level. Now you might be wondering, what if someone has religious objections to the content of the novels? Republic Act 1425 allows students to exempted from reading the novels for religious reasons, but they are still required to take the courses about Rizal life and contributions. These exemptions needs to supported by a school written statement. To make all of this happen, the law also gave power to the Board of National Education. Their job is to make sure the law is carried out effectively, from preparing materials like primers and textbooks to setting rules and even handling students' exemptions when necessary. To sum it up, Republic Act 1425 is not just about a law about Rizal, it's a law about patriotism, education, and identity. It ensures that every Filipino student understands the importance of Rizal message and how it still speaks to us today. Thank you, everyone.
A pleasant day to each and everyone. My name is Crystal Ann Murayaw and I will tackle about the Section 2 and the Section 3 of the Republic Act number 1425, or known as the Rizal Law. The Rizal Law mandates the study of Jose Rizal's life and works in Philippine schools. Let's first discuss the Section 2. It is stated in Section 2 that it shall be obligatory on all schools, colleges, and universities to keep in their libraries an adequate number of copies of the original and the uncensored editions of the Noli Me Tangere and the El Filibusterismo, as well as of Rizal's other works and biography. The said uncensored editions of the Noli Me Tangere and the El Filibusterismo, or their translations in English, as well as other writings of Rizal, shall be included in the list of approved books for required reading in all public or private schools, colleges, and universities. The Section 2 of this law specifically focuses on ensuring the accessibility and required reading of Rizal's novels, the Noli Me Tangere and the El Filibusterismo. I have here 4 key concepts of the Section 2 of the Rizal Law. First one, we have the obligatory reading materials. All schools, public and private, must have sufficient copies of the original and uncensored versions of the Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, along with Rizal's other writings and biographies in their libraries. These are to be available for students. Second one, we have the required reading list, the uncensored editions for English translations of the Noli Me Tangere and the El Filibusterismo and other Rizal's works must be included in the required reading list for all levels of education. Third one, we have the adequate number of copies. The law doesn't specify a precise number of copies, but it emphasizes the need for an adequate number based on student enrollment. This ensures that students have access to the materials. And for the fourth one, we have the uncensored editions. The emphasis on original and uncensored editions highlights the importance of students engaging with the Rizal's works in their complete and the uncensored form. This ensures the full impact of the Rizal's critique is understood. So, the Section 2 of the Rizal Law aims to make Rizal's works readily available to all students. The requirement for the uncensored editions underscores the importance of understanding the Rizal's unfiltered critique of the Spanish colonial system and the Catholic Church in the Philippines. The provision for English translations aims to make the novels accessible to a wider range of students. The inclusion of Rizal's other writings and biographies provides a more comprehensive understanding of his life and contributions to Philippine history and for the nationalism. The law's intention is to foster patriotism and national identity among Filipino youth by directly engaging with the works of their national hero. The adequate number clause leaves the determination of the number of copies to the discretion of the educational institutions, ensuring that the quantity is sufficient to meet the needs of the student body. Next one, we have the Section 3. It is stated in the Section 3 that the Board of National Education shall cause the translation of the Noli Me Tangere and the El Filibusterismo as well as other writings of Jose Rizal into English, Tagalog, and the principal Philippine dialects. Cause them to be printed in cheap, popular editions and cause them to be distributed free of charge to persons desiring to read them through the Purok organizations and barrio councils throughout the country. So, the Board of National Education shall determine the adequacy of the number of books depending upon the enrollment of the school, the colleges, and universities. So the Section 3 of the Republic Act number 1425, or known as the Rizal Law, focuses on making Jose Rizal's work widely accessible to the Filipino people. It outlines a plan for translation, printing, and distribution of his writings. I have here 4 key concepts of the Section 3. First one, we have the translation. The Board of National Education was tasked with translating the Rizal's novels, the Noli Me Tangere and the El Filibusterismo, and the other writings into English, Tagalog, and the major Philippine dialects. This ensured that a wider audience, regardless of their language proficiency, could access his works. Next one, we have the cheap popular editions. The translated works were to be printed in affordable editions to maximize the accessibility. The aim was to make Rizal's writings available to the general public, not just the elite. The next one, we have the free distribution. The printed books were to be distributed free of charge to anyone who wanted to read them. This removed the financial barriers to accessing the Rizal's important writings. Then for the last one, we have the distribution network. The distribution was to be carried out through existing community organizations, the Purok organization, and the barrio councils. This leveraged existing community structures to ensure the widespread reach across the country. So the Section 3 demonstrates a commitment to democratizing access to the Rizal's works by translating into multiple languages and printing affordable editions. The law aimed to ensure that the Rizal's message of reform and nationalism reached to all the Filipinos, regardless of the socioeconomic status or language preference. So in simple terms, the Section 2 is about making sure that everyone can understand the Rizal's books. Many people only speak Tagalog or other local languages, not Spanish. So we need to translate the Rizal's books into many different languages. This way, everyone, no matter where they live or what language they speak, can read and understand his important messages. And the Section 3 is about getting the books into people's hands. We need to print lots of cheap copies of the Rizal's books so they are affordable for everyone. Then, we need to make sure that these books get to people who might not be able to buy them. We can work with many community groups like the Purok organizations and the barrio councils to give free books to people in all parts of the country. This way, even people in faraway villages can read the Rizal stories.
Good day everyone, I am Wadina S. Mustafa and it is my honor to present the third part of our discussion on Republic Act number 1425, also known as the Rizal Law. So in this report, I will focus on section 4, 5, and 6 of the law, which discuss safeguards, funding, and its implementation. I will also highlight the historical significance and lasting impact of this important piece of legislation. So section 4, religious neutrality. So let us begin with the section 4. So this provision emphasizes the secular nature of public education in the Philippines. It clearly states that the teaching of Rizal work, particularly No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo, must be done without promoting discussing religious doctrines. This safeguard ensures that the Rizal law respect the diverse religious belief of Filipino students while still promoting critical thought and patriotism through the life and writing of Dr. Jose Rizal. So, Section 5, funding provision. So, moving on to Section 5, this section pertains to the funding to the implementation of the Rizal law. So, an amount of the 300,000 pesos was appropriated by the government. In 1956, this funding was allocated for the printing and distribution of Rizal novels, the training of the teacher, and other necessary expense to fully enforce the law. So this shows the government commitment to ensure that Rizal teaching would react every Filipino student. So section 6, effectivity of the law. So section 6 is brief yet symbolic. It states that the law took effect upon its approval on June 12, 1956. So this date is significant as it coincides with the Philippines Independence Day. So making the law's enactment and tribute to the national hero whose life and work greatly contribute to our country's liberations from the colonial rule. So the historical significance and lasting impact. So beyond the provisions, the Rizal law holds great historical and social value. So it was enacted to commemorate Dr. Jose Rizal heroism. So it instilled nationalism among the youth. So it remains relevant today as a continues to promote civic responsibility and national identity. Additionally, it is sparked instant the debate between the church and state, provide the Rizal influence extended well beyond his lifetime. So in summary, section 4, 5, and 6 of the Rizal law ensure that education remains secular, that proper funding was provided for its implementation, and that it was enacted on a symbolically powerful date. So more than just in that, the Rizal law is the continuing legacy of one man's vision for the free and educated Filipino people. So thank you very much for your attention. Once again, I am Modina as Mustafa.